Hey, you, I'm another white guy in a NASA shirt that thinks he knows everything. Because I do. And don't you ever forget. Reboots. That's all the media wants to talk about anymore. That's all the media wants to do anymore. Especially in terms of animation, they just can't seem to come up with an original idea. I'm looking at you, Paramount. With all the new stuff coming out, like the Clone High reboot, the Avatar The Last Airbender reboot, Velma. Now there's Futurama. When I heard that there was going to be a Futurama reboot, I was hopeful, I guess. What was the best word to put it? I didn't expect much because, man, reboots have been shit. There's 3 episodes out now, and all I have to say is, oh boy. It's not the episodes are bad, except for the 3rd one. Jesus Christ, it was bad. I literally, in my notes right here, I have, this is so fucking bad. Holy shit, oh my god. Those are my, I just watched it, those are my live reactions, I swear to god. Futurama's no stranger to reboots. They've been rebooted many times. They've gotten sent to a completely different network, and now they're back. They're back at Disney. Welcome back. Well, Fox wasn't owned by Disney, but you got what I'm saying. They've moved around. They're not, this isn't strange for them. 10 years was too much, apparently, because this new season wow, it's not great. And people all over YouTube are like, it's so good. I'm loving it. This is so funny. It's fucking hilarious. You'll see here. It's just bad. Like, I don't know. Are you watching the same show as me? It's just like the actors feel out of place. It's just, the writing is just so odd. It just doesn't feel like Futurama. But I have genuinely rewatched Futurama, the first like 4 or 5 seasons, like 10 times over, and I've seen the back half like 4 or 5 times through now. It is probably my favorite adult animated show ever. Now I've buckled down and watched those 3 episodes that have come out multiple times, and I guess I'm gonna review them. So the first episode starts off where the series ended before, 10 years ago, and it's Leela and Fry are old. The professor comes through a wormhole and finds them saying he can reset the whole universe. He figured it out. And so, like at the end, Fry says, "You want to go around again?" Or maybe Leela says that. They say yes and hug, and boom. And right off the bat, literally the second line after that, wow, this feels like a reboot. They literally didn't wait. They didn't wait a single fucking moment. It's gonna be a long ride. So in the first episode, after making a billion fucking reboots and 10-year jokes and killing it already, and they did this in the previous reboots, so I can't even say like this is a new thing that, oh shit, I didn't, give me a sec. Is this what they would look like as ducks? Dude, I don't know. We're sticking with it. We got... Farnsworth isn't bad. I think I kind of nailed Farnsworth, but that's... I mean, he already kind of looks like a duck anyways. They're ducks, okay? So basically after they do all their whole, oh, we got rebooted. Oh, it's a reboot. Who would reboot after 10 years? It's been 10 years. Oh boy. It's 3023. Fry realizes, oh, I've done so little with my life since coming to the future. So he decides, I'm gonna watch every TV show ever. So basically they parody a bunch of modern TV shows on the screen, and then they actually make one of the best jokes in the first 3 episodes. They parodied Black Mirror as with the scary door. The scary mirror was pretty fucking funny because they just went on with the whole idea of, oh, it's spooky. Computers are going to take over and they're gonna kill us. They're gonna get you. Watch out. But that genuinely, that was one of the better. That was probably my second favorite joke in all of the first 3 episodes. So Fry locks himself in. They make a Dune reference with a still suit. He locks himself in a chair and just starts going on. So after watching apparently every show except for one in a few weeks, he decides, okay, it's time to watch All My Circuits. So they find out that apparently Fry in the still suit has become stuck in there, and his brain waves have become associated with the TV waves, which apparently means if he stops watching, he'll just die. That's it. He's dead. Oop. That's basically to prevent Fry from becoming a vegetable. Leela and Bender have to go to Fulu. You heard that right. Fulu. I should have wrote Hulu-Rama. And they try to get All My Circuits back on television and say, oh, you should reboot it. It's only been 10 years. Who would reboot a show 10 years later? Oh, I bet Hulu would do it. You're not clever. I feel like Hulu references are so overdone now. Like it started back in like the Mindy Project when that got picked up by Hulu, and then Solar Opposites fucking killed it with Hulu Land. Mother of God. I feel like it's got to be on the contracts of any show that gets picked up and rebooted by Hulu to just, you have to mention Hulu. You have to say, God, I love Hulu. Hulu's so great. I love Hulu. Buy Hulu. Buy it now. They just sound, there's no subtlety, like at all. It's so bad. But basically, they get Calculon out of hell, and because he died, if you remember. And so they start making episodes of All My Circuits. Somehow, while Fry is in his weird television vegetative state, he turns up his watcher view thing to 2 times speed. So then they have to start making episodes at 2 times speed. And then they make a writer's room reference. They say, oh, the writers, they can't go that fast. They can't write to keep up with the 2 times speed. And they go in and they give themselves cameos. So they get Bender to write the episodes because he's a robot, he can write. And then they start making the episodes at 2 times speed. But oh no, the director of the show dies. Leela has to take over. They instantly get canceled by Hulu then. Oh, sorry. Fulu. They have to just basically accept that Fry is going to die. But wait, the professor comes up with this ingenious plan. I assure you it's hilarious. Where they have to slowly open the opacity of his blacked out like screen goggles that he's watching the show on and merge it into real life so his brain doesn't go into shock, because that apparently has something to do with the electronics of his brain. God damn it. And then for some fucking stupid reason, as they're easing Fry out of his trance state, Calculon decides to explain his love using dynamite and grenades. What the fuck? How do you even come up with this shit? Basically, he accidentally lights it and it explodes and now Fry's on fire. And oh boy, Amy's stupid again. Amy to the rescue. She pours a bunch of fucking battery acid all over Fry and he burns and dies. Leela comes over and he's like, oh my god, no, I shouldn't have encouraged him to do that. By not really stopping him. I don't know. Fry's not dead. He just walks through the fucking door. He's like, hey guys, what are you doing? Okay, so they cut to the credits, and then there's an after credits scene where they gotta get all the old characters and gotta bring in the, oh boy, you gotta make more references. Where they bring in Morbo and Linda to introduce fucking Nixon. He goes Aru, and then Fry stares directly into the camera and basically jerks off the creators of the reboot and streaming services and says, oh, people don't want a new reboot if it's not going to be good. And you have to responsibly stream 10 episodes a day. How conceited and stupid can you be? Okay, episode 2. It's a more serious episode about Kif and Amy's kids that they had. And they're finally hatching. They're finally grown. The episode starts with Fry like sucking on his jacket, and Leela and Amy are like, he's so socially awkward and pathetic and cute. aww. Essentially, he's sucking on a piece of honey candy that got stuck to his jacket back in the 2000s. Sorry, in the 90s, I guess. And then Zoidberg's like, ooh, let me taste. And nom nom nom. Zoidberg's a fat bastard. Laugh. So Fry wants to get a new piece made. And Bender's like, I can make honey candy easy. And then he does, and it's just done in like a minute. And then he puts in, as the final ingredient of these honey pieces, treacle? What the fuck is treacle? I had to Google it. It's basically just molasses. It's a goofy name for molasses. That's it. Like, I don't know what else to say. It's literally just so they can say the word treacle again at the end of the episode. The writers are probably pissing and shitting themselves about how funny they thought this joke was. So basically, the honey candies are what gets Amy to look at her calendar because she bites into one and her teeth start to fall out. Yikes. So Kif shows up. He explains that it's been 20 years since they have given birth, and then they proceed to make all of the other characters act like they weren't there, and then they show literally clips from the original show, and everyone's like, ew, that's so gross. I can't believe you do that. You were all there. You know this. And then somehow Leela forgot that she is the mother of Kif's kids. They even make a joke that she says, oh God, I must have been so drunk then. I'm drunk right now. It's like, since when was Leela a raging alcoholic? And then they have to just extensively and repeatedly explain how fucking Kif was carrying the kids, and how he's the one that gave birth, and how they miss an entire opportunity to tell like a billion jokes. When they do a sex ed video for his planet, they don't tell any jokes instead. They just say, oh, while everyone else is getting down, these amphibious guys, they just got a touch. It's like, you don't want to say anything else? Nothing else? Okay, cool, great. So they go back to Kif's planet, but they watch the kids try and get out of the water in literally the exact same joke slash sequence, I guess. It's not even that funny. It's kind of more horrifying than anything. Of the animals coming to attack the tadpoles as they're trying to leave the water, and 3 survive. Well, at first 4 survive, then they have to mention it, and then munch munch, now there's 3. So one of the 3 has one eye and starts calling Leela mommy, and Amy has to call them over, be like, no, I'm over here, and that's apparently enough for a plot. That one misconnection is what is our main plot of this episode. So the kids come over to meet Kif and Amy, which leads to literally the funniest joke in the first 3 episodes in total. It's probably just me that found it funny, because it's just the Wongs being horribly racist. When the kids run up to hug them, Mrs. Wong goes, ew, she's touching them. That caught me so off guard, and I literally laughed out loud. That was the only time I had even chuckled at this show. Anyways, the Wongs make a couple more racial remarks, and then they fly off, and it cuts back to Planet Express for Kif to explain even more. This episode literally just feels like a big, do you remember? Don't you remember? After that, there's a whole excruciating montage about, them, like, trying to be parents and them getting exhausted, and there's an okay gag of, like, this brick-colored spray paint that, I don't know. That's the only thing memorable, honestly. So when they get home after that day, Kif gets a call from Zap, and they need to go on, like, a military expedition to go help on this one other planet. And then Amy is worried about how she's going to take care of the kids on her own. This leads to, like, the most strange scene that I feel like was played for both, like, sadness and for laughs, but it did neither well at all. So Kif starts flying off on the Nimbus, and the kids one by one start crying because they miss him, and then Amy just fucking breaks down and starts bawling. She, like, starts screeching in pain. I genuinely, like, it is visceral. but like I feel like I can't tell if I'm supposed to be laughing at it or feeling bad for her because it's so over the top. And then the back half of this episode is just so rushed through, and they're trying to just fit as much crap as they can. So let me just run through the list real quick. Amy's overwhelmed by the kids and is late for work. And then it cuts to Kif being sad and missing his kids, and Zap takes the honey candies that for some reason Kif brought like a billion of. Where the fuck did he get them? Leela offers to take the kids away from Amy and just take them off her hands for a little bit. And they show Leela as being a good caretaker and just being fun, and Amy sees it over a screen and gets sad and upset. Like, you let her take... And Kif and Zap get to the mission. They make the fucking whale biologist joke again, except now it's with water bears. He's a bear biologist. It genuinely wasn't funny the first time, and now that you're just referencing it and doubling down, it's certainly not funny. Zap took some of the honey candies, and it's attracting the water bears to come attack him because they like normal human food. And then they drag him away into a cave for some reason instead of just fucking killing him. Why not? Amy freaks out and takes her kids back from Leela, claiming that she is being too nice. The grand midwife shows up and is like, okay, you guys need to figure this out. Who's the actual parent? Because I've been watching. She basically says that Amy needs to prove that she is their true mother, and she is the Smizmar, the Smizmother. Then they cut to Kif on his mission, trying to get Zap back, where he strips down, and they use the plot point of he's got camouflage just to make a naked joke, I guess. He goes around the caves, he kills a bunch of water bears, and finds Zap. He kills like 12 of these dudes before he then turns and sees him, and they're ooh, sad moan noise. They show their kids behind them. He's like, you have kids as well. You're just trying to protect your children. Jesus Christ, could you be more on the fucking nose and cheesy? Leela basically tells Amy that she doesn't really want to be a mother. She doesn't want to be their parent, and that she gives Amy all of the blessings. So they go back to Kif's planet, and they try to have this ceremony, but oh no, Kif hasn't shown up. Oh wait, no, he shows up literally 2 seconds later, of course. And then for some reason, instead of just showing us the end of the scene before of Kif, like, killing all the water bears and stuff like that, they make us go back to the planet, and then instantly flash back to show the water bear biologist being like, haha, look at me enjoying these foods, you losers. And then Kif does the weird mission from Bully in the observatory and knocks him down. And then the bear biologist, see how funny it is, gets eaten by the bears, and Kif and Zap got away. So basically all of this leads to them sitting down in the grand midwife's office, and she just basically says, do you love these kids? And Amy says, yup, yes I do. And then she just says, okay, that's all I need. Case closed. Like, okay. Then everyone cheers. Everyone enjoys some treacle. God damn it. Fucking end of episode 2. Great. Wow. So episode 3. God. The way I'm describing these episodes is probably so horrible, but they are just bad. And this one's the worst. This episode is literally 30 minutes of saying the word Bitcoin over and over, intermixed with all of the tropes of a Western. The professor bought Bitcoin and sold it too early and lost a bunch of money. And for some reason that means he has a debt to the robot mafia. And I feel like that's literally just so they can introduce them. But then they're gone by the end of the episode. So Linda and Morbo say, oh, a lot of people are going west to mine Bitcoin because it's manifest destiny. And the professor says that he wants to go west to mine thallium to make computer chips, which is just not a thing. You can literally Google that, and in 2 seconds, you'll find out that that's literally not a thing that they do. That's one of the biggest issues that I have with this new Futurama reboot. The writer's room is just so different. The original writer's room was a bunch of nerdy doctors. Like, they all had PhDs and master's degrees in fucking math and science. So they made a show about math and science in the future, and sci-fi shit, because that's what they know. They're literally professionally trained for this shit. They made a literal fucking mathematical theorem and published it in one of the episodes. And in this one, they literally can't even get what elements are right. So the B plot of this episode is that Dwight, Hermes' son, doesn't want to be outside, and he doesn't like to limbo, because that's what they've reduced Hermes to. There's a bunch more crypto jokes. They go to Doge City. Fuck you, first of all. Whoever came up with that, fuck you in particular. For real, that's horrible. While they're riding along into town, they somehow find a chunk of the thallium that they're looking for, and they go to an assessor who says, yeah, this is worth that much. And then the professor's like, that's not enough. We need more. It's like, okay, then why'd you get it in the first place? Why'd you put it in the first place in this episode, writers? They stop in the saloon of the old-timey town of Doge City, where the barkeep and the owner of the saloon is a woman that is incredibly bipolar, I guess, and they play that off as a joke, where she'll just be horribly aggressive and then super nice and forgiving and like feel bad about it right after, and I guess that's a joke. Then I don't know where Roberto comes in. He has a knife gun, which that's literally just the existence of a knife gun is the funniest bit in this entire episode. Nothing beats just the still image of Roberto holding a revolver and there's knives sticking out of it. That's it. Bender buys a donkey. He names him Rusty, and they tell a joke of he says, "I'll name him Rusty," and the guy says, "Oh, good, because that's his name." It's like, do you want me to fucking lose my absolute shit because he said a name and that's its name? And Zoidberg takes over as the town doctor because, I don't know, they need something for Zoidberg to do. Fry visits Leela at the saloon and notices that, oh boy, that's the Borax Kid. He's from the comic book that I was reading earlier. He gambles with them and watches his sidekick just get brutally murdered by Roberto, and then instantly after does not react and says, yeah, I'll be your new sidekick. Sure, why not? There's another scene about Dwight not liking being outside. He want Wi-Fi. He want inside. He want air condition. They cut to Bender on his donkey singing a country song. They don't mention at all that Bender's always wanted to be a country star and a country singer. Ramblin' Rodriguez. None of that. He sings a song and ends up breaking his donkey's back by stepping on it because physics, man. So Dwight talks to Roberto because he wants to be cool like Roberto, because being a murdering criminal is cool, I guess. It's cooler than Hermes, but Hermes is a chiller. Fuck you, Dwight. Roberto tells Dwight that there's a stagecoach transporting a thumb drive of Bitcoin, and he's gonna rob it, and he's gonna use Dwight as bait. And it goes wrong, and Dwight just gets run over by the stagecoach. Bender takes his donkey to Zoidberg to get it fixed because he's the town doctor, and oh boy, he does it. Like, this whole episode is like setup, instant depressing payoff. Barely a setup, no depressing payoff. Wordplay. Bitcoin, crypto. Fry takes Leela to go introduce her to the Borax Kid. While they're going there, they're just jumped by a mountain lion. Fry pulls out his gun and shoots and misses and scares it off. But the Borax Kid takes responsibility for it, and Leela starts falling for him. So the professor and all the gang that isn't Leela and Fry, they're out panning for thallium, and Amy's like, oh no, we're not finding anything, and then instantly finds the biggest chunk of shit ever. This feels like Cocomelon. I don't have to wait for anything. And since they found such a big chunk, they decide, okay, we need to keep watch. We need to watch over it and make sure no one steals it. I bet you can guess what happens. Roberto shows up and steals it. But in the morning, they find that Bender's gone. And when they find Bender gone, they see that his donkey is tied to a tree and say, "Where's Bender, boy? Go find him." And then they follow the donkey back to the saloon, and that, lo and behold, that's where he fucking is. Of course it is. So then when they get to the saloon and they go into one of the back rooms, it turns out that the weird bipolar lady that owns the saloon is actually kidnapping robots and is using them to mine Bitcoin. But not for herself, to give to an orphanage. Why? I don't know. So the lady finds them and explains this whole thing and then locks them all in there. They put Bender back together, they disconnect him from the machines, and they are like, "How are we gonna get out?" Bender says, we burrow. Because burrow sounds like burro. Or donkey. Yup. So, since Leela was swooned by Borak's kids somehow, Fry is left alone in his tent, and Fry finds out Borak's kid is a fake, and that his comic books are all fake, and that they're just plagiarized stories from another cowboy where he just changed the names and added a few words. He goes into town and finds him and calls him out for a duel. So they stand there getting ready, and oh boy, the robot piano from earlier in the episode and the fucking assessing guy who had like the slightest beef in the middle of the episode where he's like, "Oh, why don't you play this song?" And he's like, "I'll play whatever I want." And that's it. That was the only beef. That was it. That was the whole beef. And they're like, "I call you out." And it's like there's now 2 duels happening. And then all of a sudden, the ground in between all of them bursts open, and they burrowed out. They did it. Wow. And when they do so, Bender calls out the barkeep, who just happens to be up on a platform above them. It's so dumb. There's 3 dimensions of dueling going on now. As they're all getting ready to draw, Borak's kid pulls out like his ace of spades, which is just another gun that he's hiding. And Fry hits the craziest Buster Scruggs shot, taking out his hand. And then everyone just starts firing, and no one hits a goddamn thing. Hermes is like scared to come out of the hole, and Dwight's like, "I'll come save you, Dad." And limbos through all the bullets. Somehow he's better at limboing than Hermes. How? Like, what? That's hell no. Hermes is the best limboer. There's no way some little amateur bitch boy is gonna beat him. So the robot pianist gets shot. Finally, someone gets shot in this 1,000 bullet that too. How the fuck did they just not run out of bullets? They got magic guns. That's all I have to say. But the robot pianist gets shot, and Roberto climbs out the hole and is like, "Why can't we just get along? Why do you gotta shoot everyone?" And then everyone just goes, "Oh, huh." It's literally like the fucking Clone High, like. And then everyone just stops. Like, literally everyone just stops. That's it. They're done. Then the robot mafia shows up out of nowhere and is like, "Is that for me?" And the professor goes, "Yeah. Just give me a sec. I'll get you your money and we'll be on our way." And while they're waiting, the barkeep lady lures off the robots and hooks them up to Bitcoin mining machines. That's it. That's the end of the episode. That's the characters just don't feel the same. And I get like them having a little bit of rust and a little bit of dust on their voices, and they're just getting back into the groove of talking like these characters and stuff like that. But it's just written so fucking poorly. Everyone has gone from their deep and, well, I say deep, well, deeper than this, actually fleshed out personalities and has become just the worst flanderizations of their characters ever. Fry is a fucking bumbling idiot. So is Amy, even though Amy is literally a physics PhD and now mother. I don't... Leela is apparently an alcoholic hard ass, even though she's not a hard ass at all anymore. She's a fucking pushover. Oh yeah, and Bender? Bender is like not even close to as much of an asshole as he was before. He's just kind of there now. He's not even like the jerk, really. He's just the robot. At least Zoidberg's the same. I feel like the main issue is they just talk weird. No one feels like they're talking confidently. Everyone feels like they're being hesitant before they say anything. And I feel like they would benefit a lot by just being like a little bit more selfish, I guess. Like when normally they would just state something and they would just make a statement. Now they're like, oh, is this what happened? What just happened? Would you do this for me? It just slows everything down and makes everything less clever, and it references itself before it even makes the joke. It's destroying the super quick and witty and clever comedy that Futurama was so much known for. I feel like that's the issue with modern animated stuff for adults. Like, everything's just trying to be a hip, modern PG-13 version of Rick and Morty, and they just fall flat every time. And even though Futurama's falling into these same pitfalls as everyone else, no one's saying it. Like, ooh, Clone High, bad. Futurama, good. Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense. They're doing the same bullshit. It's just millennial writers, I guess, just cannot write an edgy asshole character anymore. The only show that is doing that well anymore is Always Sunny. And I guess South Park kind of, but South Park, they've also been falling off pretty recently. You're trying to write an endearing version of a bad person. That's just what they are. All the Planet Express people are kind of assholes, whether that's on purpose or not, but they're assholes. They're selfish. They're kind of a jerk to everyone else. That's not how it is anymore. There's literally a joke in the second episode, right when Amy and Kif's kids come out of the water. The grand midwife goes, oh, they are beautiful. And Bender goes, that's it. He just goes, He doesn't like say, damn, nah, they ugly. And then the grand midwife's like, well, they are beautiful like how all children are beautiful. And everyone just goes, oh, yeah, of course, yeah. Like, that is the most back-rubbing bullshit I have ever heard in my life. The comedy used to be so quick and witty and just back to back to back, just railing you with jokes over and over. But now it's self-referential, and it kills its own momentum constantly, like all the time. Here, I'll give you a few examples from literally just from the first episode. So when Fry decides that he wants to watch all of the TV shows that ever existed, Leela is kind of against it. So she asks Hermes, hey, would you tell him not to do that? When before, if she said that, she would either tell Fry, this is really stupid, and Fry would just do it anyways, or she would tell Hermes, hey, tell Fry this is a bad idea. It's just, it's such a slight difference, but it goes a long way. It's not her being pushy or mean or anything. It's just the cadence of her character. It's just how she is. Then when they bring Calculon up from hell, and he starts just giving this long-winded monologue, the devil goes, would you stop? And then says, would you just get in the cannon already? Instead of just cutting him off, saying, all right, get in the cannon! And then when they're recording one episode of All My Circuits, they were so close to making a good joke. And where they're out on this paddle boat, and it's Calculon's girlfriend and his human best friend. And they're on a secret date. And Calculon shows up and says, oh, I can't believe you're dating my human best friend. And then his girlfriend's like, oh my god, I can't believe you found out I'm dating your best friend. And then it just goes around in circles. And Calculon goes, okay, come on, we're stuck in a loop. That's enough. Calculon is the most dramatic person in the entire show. He is the most, like, over-the-top character that they have. How is he the one cutting them off? Everything is just so, they just kill their own jokes, and it just sucks. And then other than that, they have, like, not jokes. Not like the Borat not joke, but it's like nothing jokes. Like, in the second episode, the grand midwife is like, I accept tips. And Leo Wong walks over with a stack of cash and rings it out, making coins fall out. Is that a joke? Is that pointless visual gag supposed to be a joke? Firstly, Leo would never give to charity. Okay? God, the references, every fucking show these days has to just do endless references to pop culture and to media and to themselves over and over and over. And the first episode is the worst, because they are literally just trying to shove as many characters that you know, things that you've seen, like, it's just nostalgia bait for the sake of nostalgia bait, and it sucks. Like I said, other than the Scary Door reference to Black Mirror, that was pretty funny. But, like, they just bring in Slurms McKenzie, and it's like, a quick little short ad from Slurm Zero, because get it, because Coke Zero, and Slurms is just, like, dying. Okay. I thought he was dead. Why is he just, like, a disheveled man? Like, it's not funny, because it doesn't have any background or setup whatsoever. It's just referencing. Making Nixon just go Aru is not a joke. That's not sufficient. The show has just genuinely become such a shell of what it used to be. It's now over-explanatory, over-referential, and genuinely just not funny. And it just keeps getting worse. The first episode to the next has genuinely been a dramatic decline. And I am really, really hoping that somewhere in the middle of this season they will find their footing. I'm not going to stop watching. I'm not. I love Futurama too much for that. But God, I'm going to still hate on it. I'm not against calling a show bad, even though I like it. Like, there's a lot of bad shows that I still enjoy sometimes. Like, the newest season of Bob's Burgers has been very mids. But that one Christmas episode, though, I'm waiting for that episode in this Futurama season. I'm gonna be honest. That's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for that gem. I'm waiting for it. And we're not getting it. I don't know what else to say. The show is just going genuinely downhill, and I feel like it is the writer's fault. It is. I don't know who else to blame other than Matt Groening being so disconnected, but he probably wasn't all that connected after the first or second season at all. He was probably just exec producing. What did you guys think about the episodes yourselves? You can leave it in the comment below. I'll read it probably. I don't know. I have high hopes for the future. I've been Kyle. Thanks for watching.